Welcome, Hard Knocks. KK the Destroyer coming at you live from the ESPN 8 Ocho studio, bringing you all your Hard Knocks news. Got several things to kind of comb over tonight. With me, as always, is Greg.
What's up, fellas?
So here we go. We're going to kick it off with the recent controversy. I see Rocky in the chat talking about Mike's cheesy, or not Mike, Blaze's cheesy ass. Or actually, no, the cheesy ass league that we run here. He knows that. He knows what's up. So, I feel like we've had a handful of games now that have kind of been out of kind of the out of hand. There you go. That's way to be my backup. And kind of discuss why the blowout rule is there and how we go about enforcing said blowout rule, because it really is subjective. And so we'll go ahead and jump into this Bengals-Jags game and kind of talk about it. So the rule as it sits says you shouldn't have a disparity of more than 35 offensively scored points than your opponent. And you never have to not score on a pick six or a fumble recovery for 6, regardless of when they happen, or punt returns, that kind of stuff. Like, you should get those stats. So those don't count, but you have to keep it within that range of 35 points. But this is where the subjectivity comes in. Is if you look at this game, you have Blaze scores 14 in the first quarter and the second quarter, so that's 28 to Rocky's 9. Game's not out of hand. And then you get into that third quarter, and he puts up 21 points. And so now you're sitting at 49 points. But then Rocky scores 14. So now we're at, 23 points? So it's 49-23. At that point, Blaze should be looking to just kind of chew clock. What's that disparity? That's 49 and 23? So 26 points? Yeah. I mean, that's a 4-possession game. That's where the scoring should stop. And at that point, he just needs to start running the ball on first and second down. And then if he gets into a third and long or a third and short, he has every right to convert on that play. And that's where players need to be self-moderating and go, okay, yeah, I could streak said guy and get a 60-yard completion here, or just go for the first down. And then if I don't get it, punt it away. And if your opponent scores and makes that game closer, then you can be like, okay, well, I'm still in control of this game. It's now a 3-score game. And you do the same thing, because all this does is screw everything up stat-wise. Like, if you look at the Bengals quarterback, I mean, he really only threw 17 times of 17 completions of 27 attempts. It's not that outlandish. 556 yards is excessive, but not by a ton, depending on the game you're in. But the 7 TDs is ridiculous. Like, you don't need to be scoring 7 TDs with your starting quarterback. At this point, the game is firmly in hand in the third quarter. He should bench him and get his backup quarterback in there and kill clock. And then you go look at the receiving. John Ross has 11 catches. It's not really that crazy. The yardage is crazy, and the fact that all 7 TDs go to John Ross. And so, Greg, you made a good point about this. Like, why do all 7 have to go to him?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's why I said that these games need to be streamed, because when you're looking at it and you didn't watch the game, how do you know? Rocky's sending this whole time. Maybe he's on, AJ Bouye is on Tyler Boyd, Jalen Ramsey's on Green, and Ross is the only one getting open. Okay, I can understand those streaks then. But, I mean, I don't know what the chances are. I feel like he could have probably spread the ball around a little bit, streaked. AJ Green's a beast. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like what you're saying is, like, without the context of the stream, here we are trying to make, like, subjective rulings on what's happening. And, I mean, the stat line outside of the yardage and the TDs isn't that crazy. I mean, lots of guys are putting up 8 to 11 catches in a day. And if we don't see the coverage, we have no idea. And looking at the final quarter, he scores 11 points. So clearly he doesn't. Yeah. I mean, and do we know what the touchdown is? I mean, they both had 4 turnovers. Rocky's.
We don't know who scored it.
Yeah.
Offensive, defensive, it was Ross.
And I don't think it was defensive, but because I can go look at that defense-wise. And to kind of get back to the reason the rule is there is, like, it does come down to sportsmanship and what we're trying to achieve here in the league, which is something that kind of resembles what happens in the NFL. And in the NFL, you're not going to see a starting quarterback typically throwing 7 TDs or 8 TDs or 9. What was it that Watson had?
Yeah, Watson had a ton last year.
Yeah. I had to call you back out for that, Mikey. I'm just going to have to bring it up. But you don't really see that. And at the end of the year, these one game can completely impact the year-end awards and all those different things. So it's a real negative. And then when you compound that with there's all levels of skill in this league, and if we want to have a full league, you have to respect your opponents. And yeah, like, I mean, a lot of people can just be like, yeah, I can hang 50 on whoever. Well, that's not really the point. Like, we want a community of people who want to play their games every week and not be looking for new owners. I mean, we've lost a handful of owners in the recent, few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that Giants owner walked because he was getting torn up by everybody.
Yeah.
He didn't win a game. I mean, the new guy came in and beat the Cowboys. The guy was, I think that was 0-5 or something like that. He was getting torn up after it. So, yeah, I mean, he quit. I couldn't blame him. Who wants to show up and get beaten every time they play?
Yeah, and it's
by big points.
And that's what I was going to say. It's not always like that you're getting beaten. It's how you're getting beaten. And if you got guys, up 28 points and they're still throwing the ball, it kind of sucks to be you. And, like it or not, every league needs people to come back and continue to play. And if you're just roasting people that are not as good as you, they're going to walk. And so that's what that blowout rule is for. But on the flip side of that, I think there is a lot of responsibility on the team getting blown out. Like Rocky in this game, we don't have a stream, but was he sending Engage 8 because he was frustrated? I mean, what's a guy gonna do? Like, if he plays a legitimate defense, maybe this game doesn't get out of hand.
If he plays a legitimate defense and Ross still has those numbers, you probably look at suspending Ross for a game and give blows a warning, but we don't have any kind of video.
Right. And I looked at another game where, the guy getting blown out is turning the ball over on his side of the field, within the 30 in the fourth quarter, or throwing a bad interception on his side of the field, and guys are like, well, what am I supposed to do? I mean, it's not a perfect thing, but it's just something that I need the league to respect and try to abide by, because it's for the benefit of the league. As the whole, as a health, it needs to be in place.
Yeah.
Because
I'd almost go as far as making almost every game, making everything be streamed. So we don't run
I know
into
it.
these issues.
Yeah, that has been brought up. But every league I'm a part of that has the mandatory stream thing, it winds up being something that's in place in the first 4 weeks, and then people stop doing it, and then there's no punishments for it, and nothing ever really happens. And I already hate having to, punish people for scoring infractions or doing whatever. Like, I already hate that part of the commissioner job. And just adding one more thing for me to have to be like, hey, you didn't stream your game last week, now your quarterback suspended. Or, I don't even know what. Like, enforcement is a mechanism that is never easy, and so I'm just not a fan of it. But I think it's a self-moderating thing when you have a game like this where Rocky's bent. Like, he's like, oh, you're such a cheesy ass, you know, you're using a custom book, da-da-da-da-da, and just blasting Blaze. And it's like, do you have a stream? Because if you don't have a stream, then all it is you just popping off at the mouth and, you know, nothing to back it up. So I think the streaming thing can be, kind of fixed by people just protecting themselves. Just stream your own game, and if you have a problem, then you can bring it. And you actually have some proof of it. And the Bills is like, this podcast is making me horny as fuck. And Greg, apparently you need to turn up your mic.
Yeah, I altered it already.
Okay.
Hopefully it's better for him.
But yeah, so that's kind of what the rule is there for, and how we'd like to see it enforced, and how we try to, you know, subjectively make a decision on what should be done. And I'm not saying that nothing is going to happen in this game, because I haven't really talked to Greg and Cy about what we need to do about it. But it's really hard without that video evidence. And so on the flip side, I'd like to bring this game to light. You got the Saints versus the Lions, and it was in chat too. But if you look at this box score, New Orleans scores 7 and then 35 in the second quarter. So they're sitting at 42 points before half, and 4 turnovers for the Lions. I haven't checked to see if there's a stream for this game, so I can't speak to how these points were scored. But like the third quarter, Saints scores 7 and then nothing else the rest of the game. Like, that's the way a blowout game should be handled, in my opinion. It's it's 7-49. Yeah, it's clearly over the 35-point threshold, but he scored 1 TD in the second half. He basically shut his offense down. He's got 429 total yards. I mean, this is the model for how you play a game without breaking the blowout rule. Is it fun for the Saints? No.
It'd be a bit boring, but I mean, yeah, you kind of got to do it.
Yeah, you suck it up for the health of the league, because at this rate he could have probably, thrown up at least 21 more points, and like, that's not good for the league. It screws the stats up. Lions players pissed because he's like, well, why are you still bombing it? I mean, this is obvious stuff, in my view. Like, if you guys want a healthy league that stays together and plays multiple seasons, these are why the rules are here. So, I guess we can move on from that particular topic, because I am heated now. So what do you got for me, Greg?
Well, I suppose the next thing on our agenda was the bounty system for beating teams.
Oh, yeah, the bounty system. That's right. So this was something that we instituted at the beginning of the season to try to keep people playing their games even after they've been eliminated. Because, like it or not, a lot of people take the rest of the season off if they're eliminated from playoffs, which is a real bummer, and that hurts the league. It's not good for anybody, specifically those in playoff races that are fighting for a spot, hoping for somebody to be like, okay, if I can beat this guy, or so-and-so beats this guy, I might make the playoffs. So let me see here. The bounty system basically says, I better pull it up. I wasn't ready.
You gotta be a team that's basically out of playoff consideration. You're gonna get rewarded for beating a team that's still in the playoff hunt, or somebody who may have a playoff spot locked.
Correct. So if your team is eliminated from the playoffs, but you defeat a team that's competing, you earn a stat increase to any player of your choice. And so the idea that I had was effectively take it as a development upgrade, not a development upgrade, but a development point, where you can attribute that to a specific set of attributes. So if you're looking at a wide receiver and they have their archetype of physical, deep threat, slot guy, or route runner, you then increase that. So what I would do is I would go in there and effectively give stat increases to those particular stats that reflect that archetype. And so a good example was the Giants today. Like, he comes into the league and he was 0-4?
Yeah,
0-4.
0-4, or 5, one or the other.
And he could have effectively just, you know, said, it's a lost season, I'm not coming back from it, and, you know, not really even played that game. And he comes out and he just slaps the Cowboys around, just whips out his dick and just starts smacking them with it. and beats him 23-20. So shout out to what, I don't even know how to say that guy's name.
Autismo.
Yeah, there we go. That guy.
Ostismo.
Autimso. I don't know. Whoever that guy is. But I mean, that's the kind of stuff we want to see. I mean, that's amazing. So we will probably have to start looking at that, you know, I don't know, probably week 10-ish. But I'm going to say...
Playoffs become more clear.
Yeah. But I feel like that Giants guy needs some kind of reward here, because that's a big game to win when you're 0-4. I mean, that's just the way it is. A lot of guys will just come in and just tank the season, get that first round pick, and try to rebuild next year, and that's not good for anybody, especially those playing him. Oh. Whew. And then from there we can kind of jump into the trade channel. I see a lot of people posting in the trade, specifically the Chiefs. Good God, every time I scroll through here, there's a Chiefs player on it. But then we got a big guy on the block with Ezekiel Elliott, which Greg, I'm actually surprised you're not trading for Zeke.
Kareem Hunt's fine with me, unless he wants to straight up trade Zeke for Kareem. I mean, I think Kareem Hunt's younger even. So.
But you're a Cowboys fan, like that's automatic.
I'm a Cowboy fan, but I might take Dak. I might trade. I can't even fake him for Dak. You never know.
Yeah.
Hit me up, Cowboys.
But yeah, we got lots of activity in the chat, so definitely find your way over there, see if you can make a trade. I am not an exceptional trader, so I don't really do a whole lot there. But
yeah, I don't trade much either. I've made, I think, 2 trades.
Yeah, but definitely find your way in there, make some trades, get something going there. And then we can pop on over to the stat leader side. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, stat leaders. Yeah, even though they're going to be skewed by Blaze.
Yeah.
Blaze.
All right, here we go. So, wow. So Jabbar is still leading with Tom Brady. I don't know how that's possible. Isn't he like 1-5?
27 interceptions.
Oh my God, 27 interceptions. That's bad.
Jabbar's dealing to everybody.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my goodness. Jules got 31 interceptions.
And then, so right here you have Jacoby Brissett, who is at 1,600 yards. Yeah, 550. So he was 1,000. He wouldn't even be top 10. And he got half of his TDs in one game. That right there is why the blowout rule is in existence. And then, yeah, man, we're going to have to kind of look at the... well, you can't do it by INT because that sorts it weird.
Yeah, do you remember last year all the people had pretty decent touchdown to interception ratios, and it looks like a bunch of negatives now.
Yeah, I mean,
close.
Watson leading the league with 15 TDs, but he's got 14 interceptions. Josh Allen with 14, so lots of guys in the negative. I had a terrible game. I'm 12-8, so that's pretty bad. Jimmy G always doing well with Penn. I mean, 12-5. He's not really throwing a lot of touchdowns. I mean, I guess he's right there with everybody else, but
Nick Chubb is doing his thing.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's Mike's Lamar Jackson, 10-4. That's not bad.
I'm way down there.
Are you?
Way down there.
Yeah, 31 interceptions. That's tough. Sorry, Joel.
26 for Dario. 3 touchdowns, 26 interceptions.
And then we got our Bills owner is third in the, well, he should be second in the total yards. So Josh Allen doing all right. And then Rocky after that. Myself. Oh, wait. Oops, I was wrong. I was sorting by TDs. My bad. Jared Goff. There we go.
Rams, Ragnar.
That's right, Ragnar.
I don't think he's won a game yet, but hey.
Hey, he's throwing the ball around.
Yeah, possibly.
And then Sibs Le'Veon Bell is like on fire as of late. So he's leading the league at 800 yards, 12 touchdowns. Yeah. Averaging 133 yards a game.
Pretty good.
Not bad. And then you got the Lions owner, I think it's Listine or Ilstein. I'm not sure how do you say his name, but he's not far behind. He's having a pretty good day. And then, of course, Nick Chubb, 700 yards. And then the new Giants owner with actually, some of that is going to be Joe's, Saquon Barkley, because we had the trade reversal, yep. Which I got to give a shout out to Joe. He was not happy about it, but he did, you know, he did what I asked him to do, what I felt was the right thing to do. So I got to give him props for actually following through and, you know, caring for the health of the league and what we're trying to do here. So thank you, Joe. Definitely wasn't fun.
Props to you.
Oh my God, I'm the mark of the devil here. 666 yards for Melvin Gordon. Look out. And then
touchdowns too.
What's up with the Saints not getting Alvin Kamara the ball? 548 yards.
Yeah, he hasn't touched it a lot. 91 it says.
Yeah. Let's see. I do not have a name for the Saints here, so.
That bread guy, freshly baked bread or something, or freshly baked buns or something like that. I don't know.
Right. So.
He's new, so I don't know it exactly, but I know it's something with buns. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So that's pretty much. I mean, everybody's pretty close in yardage. I mean, within a couple hundred yards for running.
Yeah. Nobody's. Yeah, I don't see any Ezekiel Elliott. Well, how far down is he?
Yeah, he's saying that he's running somebody else.
Oh, he's running somebody else?
Yeah, because he's trying.
He is. Bryson Foreman.
Yeah, he's trying to move Zeke before the deadline.
They look like they split carries. It's Foreman and Elliott.
And not a huge surprise to anybody, DeAndre Hopkins is leading the wide receiver list. And what do we have here? John Ross, 699 yards, 10 TDs.
Wonder why.
Weird.
He went from nothing to second place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Michael Thomas coming in after that. Julian Edelman. And then Jules Godwin. There's my rookie, John Yates. So, a lot of very similar yardage totals.
You got a tall rookie there.
Oh, yeah.
6'5". I have to watch for him. Holy shit.
And he's hidden dev. So, look out.
Look out, yeah.
And then we got the Raiders, Jazeer McLaughlin.
What a name.
Yeah. He's actually not doing too bad. 15 yards average, 130 a game, so he's getting him the ball. Let's look at averages. So we'll just throw John Ross out the window.
Average per game, yeah.
Yeah. Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Laughlin is leading it. Edelman, Godwin, Yates, Julio Jones. No, J.J. Jones.
There's me.
Oh, you found one? Odell Beckham?
Odell Beckham.
Wow, 342 yards just rotting away on your team.
I've only played 4 games, so, you know.
That is true. Marquise Brown way down on the list.
Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, so anyhow, you can go to defensive. Tackle leader, I don't really put any stock into, but
Yeah.
it's a shame too. Sack leader.
They really should.
Oh,
they
yeah.
Should separate. They should find a way to separate user tackles from tackles.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be nice. Do something cool to do.
So the sack leader, this was the other thing. Jesus, Rocky, how you let a guy get 8 sacks in one game?
Yeah, I don't know whether to blame you or blame Blaze for that. 8
Right.
sacks in one game.
I mean, he's not even top 10 on the list until he plays Rocky.
I'm looking forward to playing Rocky this year if I play him.
Miles Garrett's going to have like
sacks,
21.
Miles, Miles Garrett's going to feast. Ridiculous.
Joey Bosa at 13.5, not a huge surprise. Von Miller, 10. Khalil Mack at 9.
Good to see him. I don't think he was up there last year.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. And you got the Niners D Ford, Frank Clark of the Chiefs. So a lot of high sack totals. That's what I'm noticing.
Just like last season.
Yeah. And then INT leaders. Alex Anzalone. That's what Anzalone or whatever.
Middle linebacker. Woof. Look at
Yeah.
that.
So freshly baked buns doing the work on the user. Casey Hayward has been getting a lot of CPU picks. I think he had 4 last week. So
Wow.
yeah, that was a huge game for him. That was against Jewel. And then we got a rookie. That's a Dar's strong safety with 6. And then Darius Slay, yeah, man, I'll tell you what, he is hard to beat over the top. Like, I could not get past him.
Darius Slay's a good corner.
Yeah.
Good piece. And then Denzel, baby.
Denzel Ward, he was on the list.
Yeah. Go ahead and look at who has the most defensive touchdowns in the league.
Oh, that is one stat I did not look at. It just jumped out of there. Not NFC. NFL. All right, so jump over to defensive touchdowns. Denzel Ward with 3. Well, you built it up like it was a big deal, and that was like 3. Like,
That's a lot for 4 games.
why are you wasting my time?
I'm wasting your time. I just wanted to be on the top of the list, damn it.
All right, so from here, I guess we'll jump over to the new fantasy channel that we created. So, kind of for answering any questions for those who might not understand what it is, it's going to be a weekly game. I decided to change it from a season long because I felt like it was going to take too long and people might lose interest. So
Yeah.
we'll do the weekly game. You'll set a roster: 1 QB, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, a kicker, and you cannot choose your own players. You have to choose somebody else's. At the end of the week, scores will be totaled up. All scoring is listed. It's pinned in the channel, and the top 2 will get awarded stat increase. So number 1 will get 2 individual stats increased, and they can be on the same player or a different player. It doesn't matter. But they cannot go to combine traits like speed, agility, strength, jump, those types of things. Acceleration, yeah. And no stat can be increased beyond 92. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to have guys getting,
Roided.
they're at 94 block shed, now they're 95, and then 96, and then 97. Because we're already getting stat bonuses in general through development. And so the other rule to this is you're going to set your lineups the week before we advance to that week. So right now we're in week 6. So you can't submit a lineup for week 6. You can submit a lineup for week 7. But as soon as we advance to week 7, if your lineup's not posted in chat, you are disqualified from that week. And so, like,
so you've
right,
got to set them a week in advance. You're telling
yes,
us.
yeah, basically, like, this is like the perfect time to do it. Here we are, advances tomorrow. Now, we've been doing really good with our advance schedule. We're advancing early at times, sometimes like a half a day. So what I really encourage people to do is just get them done early, and then you don't have to worry about it. It hasn't really been an issue as of yet, but I just found that's the easiest way to do it, because what I am trying to avoid is people putting in a late submission and seeing somebody had a big game, and there's no way for me to know whether or not it was in before the game was played. So it just kind of takes that out, and I don't have to worry about it. But this was something that I did in a league back on Xbox 360, and we didn't even have any perks for it. We just kind of did it as kind of a goof, and it was fun. And it gave us something to talk about, within chat during the week. And what's been kind of funny is several of the submissions have turned out really bad. Like, I know for week 6, which is what we're in, my quarterback, I believe, was chosen, and I do believe Watson was chosen, and both of us had pretty bad days.
Garbage ass.
Yeah, like garbage ass stats.
If you're anywhere near decent at fantasy football, you should well, for our league anyway, you should probably know who the good players and the bad players are. And when you've got a good player on defense against somebody whose stats are inflated by playing bad players, there's some tactics to this game. You can't just go ahead and pick the guy with the most stats all the time.
Absolutely. And like, the one thing that kind of happens is you can't also just choose somebody who has a weak opponent, because if that weak opponent throws 3 quick interceptions, suddenly that guy shouldn't be trying to score anymore, and you miss out on some coveted stats. So I actually thought the submissions for Watson versus Tanner would have been good, but it wound up not being a very good game. I mean, it was one of the ugliest games I was a part of, and I couldn't move the ball, and he couldn't really move the ball. And so, I mean, I think Watson winds up having like 18 points or something like that. He had 2 touchdowns for 12 and like 175-ish yards. So, yeah, that's like 18 points based on the scoring I gave. So he'll wind up with a decent day, but if you chose Tanner, not a great day. I think I wind up with like 10 points. But it's a fun thing to kind of keep activity up. So make your way over to the channel, and you have a chance to win a couple stats.
Do it.
And that's what it's all about. Just something to have fun and get you through the week when you're waiting for your games to get done, and maybe motivate other people to play their games, because they're like, oh, so and so chose my player in fantasy, I'm gonna go light it up.
No doubt.
So what else we got on the agenda, Greg?
You know what? I'm doing a power rankings, but I'm not quite finished with it yet.
Oh, gotcha. So
if you want to draw it out a few minutes.
Yeah, initially we talked about whether or not we would do a projections here, and it kind of feels like we do that a lot and didn't really want it to get too stale. It's a little early in the season to start going on projections, so we're going to kind of pick that up probably about week 10 or 12 when we get a better look on exactly what the divisions look like and the wild cards and whatnot. So we'll get to that. And going forward, it would be great. I do want to get back to inviting another owner on, specifically those who haven't been on before, because I mean, it's always Greg, myself, and Cy, and it's just nice to get new faces in here and kind of bounce things off of them, and get some of the trash talk going, which we haven't really gotten into a whole lot right now.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely, we need some new faces in here. Maybe get one of the new owners in, some of the people I haven't met.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. So, Greggy, where are we at on that power rankings list?
Okay, so before anybody gets any hot pants about records, this is not based on records for me. This is based on how people are playing currently, and also how good I know that the users are. Being in the league a long time, it kind of gives me an idea. So, you know, it's just something I'm gonna do here for you. Give me just 1 minute.
Yeah. I promise, guys, we'll be a little bit more prepared next time. We're kind of throwing it together on the fly for sure.
Yeah, a little bit today we did.
Yeah.
We're a little bit more prepared than this.
So one of the other big trades that did go down was the Chiefs and the Eagles. So quietly, they made a big acquisition in Fletcher Cox. I'm trying to pull up this trade in the first place here. Looks like...
After you're done with that, I'm ready with the
Oh, okay,
power
great.
rankings I got.
Let's see here. There it is. Okay, so you had the Chiefs that sent Tyreek Hill on a huge contract, so they took a massive penalty to do it. And then Tyrann Mathieu, they sent over for Fletcher Cox and Avonta Maddox.
Ooh.
And I do believe, is it a first? Trying to see here if I can pull it up, but yeah, I mean, a big trade. So the Chiefs are excited. Their front four is, I think, looking pretty stacked, and I get to play the Chiefs next week. And
Ooh, that'll be a good one.
yeah, I get to break his heart when he's like, "Man, my front four didn't do shit." See, that's the great thing about being on the podcast is your opponents can't like say anything.
Yeah, they have to catch you in chat instead.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, Greg, take it off.
Okay, so here I am. I've got a top 10 power rankings. We'll start at number 10. I've got the Chiefs at number 10.
Oh.
They're coming in. They are 3-2 right now. I've known Rebel a while, so I know he's a quality player. He's lost to the Broncos and the Jets. Stib is pretty good this season.
Mm-hmm.
He also beat the Broncos, so they split the series. So I've got the Chiefs at number 10. I think he'll make the playoffs as a wild card this year. I
For
think
sure.
he'll take the division though.
Okay.
Number 9 is Ravens. Mike.
What?
I mean,
you put
Yep.
Mike in the power rankings?
I did. I put him number 9.
Oh, he has rattled
I know
off 4 straight wins.
Yeah, he's 4-1. He only lost to the Cowboys,
Yeah.
who went to the Super Bowl last year. And he's always good in the first place. He did have a bit of an off year last year, so I'm hoping he kind of bounces back. Even though I'm in his division, I hope he has a bounce back year. So yeah, he's 4-1. He's got Lamar Jackson. He's got Breda, who's a stud, and then he's got Marquise Brown. He's got like a triple threat there. And
Yeah, for sure.
His team will be really good. 8 is a bit of a gamble for me. I don't know him very well, but this freshly baked buns guy, I got him at 8.
Right.
I know he hasn't been here the full season, but I mean, he's 5-1.
Yeah, he's 5-1. I think he did start the season.
Did he start the season?
I think so.
He's 5-1. I don't know much about him, but that record enough is good enough to get him number 8.
Yeah.
Number 7 is the Jets. Sib coming back to life. I mean, the big thing to get me to put him at number 6 was that he beat Rebel and he smoked the Texans.
Yeah, I watched that game.
And he beat Blaze too. Those are 3 quality opponents.
Right.
And he beat them all. I don't know who this new Bills guy is. That's the only team he's lost to is the Bills.
Wow. And it looks like it was a close game.
Yep, it was a close game.
Yeah.
24-31.
Yeah, I mean, I watched him like just dismantle the Texans. Every time I peeked in on that game, he was scoring, and the Texans were just throwing up a prayer.
Yeah. Number 6 is actually the Texans. I had trouble. I was thinking about moving the Jets ahead of them since the Jets beat them.
Mm-hmm.
But based on last year, I'm keeping the Texans ahead of the Jets for now.
Yeah.
He's lost back-to-back games, but I mean, Sib's on fire right now, and he lost to you, and you're up there. I mean, you're still to come in the power rankings, but he beat the Vikings. and he beat Rocky. So he's got some quality wins too.
Right.
Number 5 is the Jaguars.
Ooh.
I know he just lost to.
I know, right?
He just lost bad to Blaze, so I'm
Hey,
giving Rocky some love here. Goddamn.
Sure. Don't embarrass him, Rock.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't really have a standout win. Everybody he's beaten is kind of beatable.
You expect him to win.
And then I do. I expect him to win down the road, and I do. I play him in 2 weeks, so I'll probably beat him hopefully. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, I've got him at number 5. Number 4, I've got myself. I'm
Right.
undefeated, and I've been through a bye week, so I'm at number 4. I think if I would have played last week and not had a bye week and won, I'd have put myself a little higher. But I haven't been challenged yet.
Sure.
My games haven't been close. I haven't played anybody too great of note either.
Well, I mean,
Jabbar.
oh wait, you didn't play the Giants because that was the other guy. So yeah, you played Jabbar.
Yeah, I played the original Giants guy.
Yeah.
Before he quit. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you got Bengals coming up. You got the Jags coming up.
Yeah, those will be 2 good games, hopefully.
So you were at 4, is that what you're saying?
I'm at 4 right now.
Okay.
Number 3, I've got you, Shark.
Nice.
And,
yeah.
I mean, I've known you forever. Yeah. I don't know if you have a quality win besides the Texans. I don't know how
well, I
good
beat the Broncos. He's actually pretty good.
Pretty good
yeah, and the Falcons, is that the original Falcons from the season, or is he a new unit?
I think you beat the original one.
Okay.
Before he left.
And then the Raiders, I believe I beat the Bills, the actual Bills. And I think that was a pretty interesting game, pretty close early, and then I kind of opened it up at the end.
Right.
And then the Texans. So, yeah, I would agree. You know, my schedule's, I don't know, in question. It's in question. No, it's actually, it's in question.
I got you. Number 2 and number 1 should come as no surprises because I think these two are probably the best 2 in the league. Number 2 is the Seahawks.
Oh, right.
He's actually 4-1. He hasn't been beaten, but you know who beat him? My number 1 team, the 49ers.
Penalty.
So, anyways, yeah, the Seahawks they're 4-1, and I don't think he's been challenged besides when he plays the 49ers.
That's what it looks like right now. I mean, he's playing Dar, and then we have a new Eagles guy, so that one doesn't count.
I mean, yeah, even last season because he started with the Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
The guy left at 0-4 last year, if I remember right, and then he took over, and I think he rambled off a lot of wins in a row, and then he lost a penalty, and then he beat penalty at the end of the year.
Right.
And that was penalty's only loss on the season. So this guy seems to be just great, just like super good, just like Penn. And of course, we already know who number 1 is. It's penalty. He won the Super Bowl last year. He only lost 1 game, and there's not a whole lot to say about him. I mean,
yeah, I mean he's good.
He's 5-0, 6-0 right now. He's 6-0 right now. He hasn't had a game come closer than 16 points, and that was against Jabbar. He actually just beat the Seahawks by 27 points.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and he's averaging 30 points a game, like 33 to 34.
He's dropped 30 every single game.
Yeah.
So it's.
I mean, he's sound.
Really do about that.
He's sound on offense and great on defense. So, yeah, I would say your list is really good. Because I'm number 5, so what can I say?
You're number 3.
Number 3? No, I was 4, right? I was 3?
4.
Oh, geez, yeah. See
4,
that?
You're 3.
You should probably be 3. I should be 4 because I don't know. I don't know.
They might. Hey, maybe we'll flip flop as the year goes on.
Right.
Maybe you run the table. I mean, you sounded like your schedule was pretty easy. In question.
it was in question. But
yeah, I mean, your toughest opponent might be your last 3 games, to be honest.
Yeah.
Pats, Bengals, and Jets.
Well, I'm definitely not looking forward to the Chiefs games. I have a feeling we'll probably wind up splitting again like we did last season. So that, and then I have my makeup game against the Broncos. Won a close one by a missed extra point. I mean, that game is a coin toss right there if he makes that extra point.
He missed the extra point.
He
Wow,
missed the
that
extra
sucks.
point. Yeah.
That's a crappy way to go.
It is.
Sweet.
Well,
I've got nothing else.
Yeah, I was gonna say great job on the impromptu top 10. So I think we'll wrap it up with that, and I look forward to picking this back up in about 4 weeks, 4 advances. We'll be able to kind of draw together a playoff picture and a wild card setup.
Yeah.
And let's also try to get back into the commentary. That would be the one last thing I would say is we have a
we haven't had any of that this year.
No, we've got a commentary channel down there. If you see a stream up, just go ahead.
Anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. You can do it with somebody. You can do it by yourself. Pop in there. Just notify the league that you're doing it, and you can kind of keep track and see if anybody's following it, because you'll see how many people are in that channel. So you're not just speaking to dead air, for an hour. Pop in there, let everybody know, and commentate it. Just don't give any tips. I mean, it's not really a great thing. I mean, there's a delay of 7 seconds, I think, for streams, but
yeah, I don't think you're gonna be able to help anybody out.
Yeah, more than likely you can't. But just have fun with it. I mean, I know Coach did a great job when he was in there doing it. So, Coach, shout out to you to get your ass back in commentary, because when I'm at work and I can't really watch the games on YouTube or whatever, then I can pop that in and listen, and it's a lot of fun. So I'd like to see that happen a bit more. And good luck with the rest of the season, guys. We're done.
Sounds good. See you guys.